What's going on? It's your boy Trey, and here is When Can I Talk? So, this is the third part of the rise and fall of the church. Okay, so we left off where I said that I got kicked off the team, the drum team, and that's what kind of leads to everything start happening from here. So, after I got kicked off the drum team, I started going to a college group, right? It was like a Bible. It was like a what do you call it? Bible study. It was like a Bible study, and I would go there. And I was kind of going to this thing before I got kicked off the drum team, so I was kind of like doing that now. But this is all I got now because I can't even go. I can't be a youth leader or anything like that anymore. So I'm living that life, right? It's all gonna add up. Chill out. So I'm living that life, and I'm just going to this study group. Well, at the study group, there's a guy named, let's call him Nardo, like the rapper. Obviously, it's not Nardo because I don't know him. So Nardo here was a great friend, very charismatic, always smiling, trying to see the best of life. Great guy. Played the guitar, stuff like that. Me and him have played a few sessions together before. He was great. Amazing. Him and his brother, great. Older brother, he's not important because he doesn't add to this story. So Nardo and I sometimes would hang out, and sometimes I would sleep over at Nardo's college dorm.
LAPTOP 993K18PH disconnected. Ready to connect.
Sorry about that. So sometimes I would sleep at his college dorm because I lived in a city far away. I lived in a city about an hour, 15 minutes away. So sometimes on Sunday when I went to church, I would sleep at his house, and then, of all people, if y'all remember episode 1 or part 1, Paige is the one who would take me home. Wow. And we did not like each other at this point in the story. So Paige would take me home on Mondays, and then I would go home and have a great time and sit there for the rest of the week with nobody to talk to. This is why I used to play this one game religiously, because I had no friends out there. I lived in the middle of nowhere. So anyway, so Paige would do that for me. Well, I remember telling you guys about that millionaire pastor, all right? Now, he had taken us to a seminar one time. I went to one of his seminars where he tried to show us what he actually did and how he made all this money. And it was great. I decided not to do it because it was like a $500 entry. And I'm like, bro, I'm broke. I barely can even drive up here and back. But the food was good. He had a big old house. This man had so much money. It was unfathomable. It's not like, oh, he had a one-story house.
Battery full. Connected to LAPTOP 993K18PH.
His place, it wasn't like he had a one-story house and it was like, oh, okay. He had about 10 acres. This man had to have owned at least 300 acres, and I'm not even exaggerating, like at least 230. He had a lake. We have a lake here in this city. He had a lake like that on his property. On his property. He had that much land. And it was like, what does he do? Because he didn't have like any like skills. Not like he was an engineer or nothing like that. So like, what? And it was just that he was a businessman. Whatever. So Paige ends up working for this pastor. After everything went down, none of us are really close friends anymore. I'm not part of the band. So at this point, she starts working for him to make a little money. But they paid her under the table. They paid Paige under the table. Okay? So they're doing all that. And, if you pay somebody under the table, they got to pay taxes on their own. You can't get paid under the table from an employer, technically, and not pay taxes. So technically, she was getting paid from him. She was doing actual work, so that's taxable. It's not like she was mowing the lawn. You know what I mean? And they were paying her on the table. They literally, the reason they had to pay her under the table is because one day, it all came together for me. I was chilling at the college. You know, we're having a good old time. Man, this college was so nice, by the way. This college is the college I actually ended up going to. And this is a story for another time, but I'll give you this brief thing. I used to go to this college all the time to hang out and just, I remember looking around because my best friend at the time went there in high school, but I had never been on the I had been on the campus and I seen it. And my best friend stayed in this dorm he would study at all the time. And that's where I went when I was like 20, maybe 19, somewhere in there. No, 18. 18, because I graduated from this same college. And then I ended up visiting him like a month or like 4 or 5 months after he had started going to college there. And so this is that same college. So I went to that dorm, and it's funny because later on in life, I ended up staying in the exact same dorm I used to see my friend in when I used to dream about going to this school. So anyway, I'm going to this school and just hanging out with these college kids. I'm not in college. I'm just a dunce at this point. I'm just living life to the fullest, and it's all good, man. So one day we're in this church. This is not a church. It was a chapel. This is actually where I ended up doing my music. I'm doing my vocal training for singing. But at this time, that's not what it was for. At this time, it was used to play piano and practice a little drums, right? And so we used to meet there all the time. It was all good, okay? Let me give one more thing. This pastor, understand, he was very nice to me. This is why a lot of things don't make sense though sometimes. But he was a very nice guy to me. He took me out for dinner, lunch, every Sunday, always paid for me. I mean, he had an immense amount of money. Now, he didn't just give me hundreds of thousands of dollars. God, that'd have been awesome. I probably would have spent it all and I'd be broke today and I'd still be here doing the same thing. Stupid. So he was always taking care of me, always a nice guy. Because y'all remember in part 1, I had his back. So there was no reason to go against him at all. He shows up. He shows up. We show up to the church one day. No. Sorry, that's later. So one day, there's this guy, his father-in-law, the pastor's father-in-law, and we're just gonna call him Gramps because he was really old. Well, he wasn't really old, but he was older. Probably like 67, somewhere around there. So Gramps used to also take me home sometimes on Sundays. One day, I was a broke boy. I asked him for some money. I was like, can I have $20 so I can get back and forth between here and my job? Or my job I'm trying to get. And he told me that he didn't have any money. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have any money? Your son-in-law is a millionaire. And that's what he told me. He said, all our assets are frozen. We're under investigation. Investigation of what? He didn't really explain it well. So I went and looked it up because I knew the name of the company. So I looked it up and there it was. Shut down. Company was completely shut down. All assets were frozen. Only thing he got to keep was cash. Which is why he had to pay Paige under the table. That is why he had to pay Paige under the table. He didn't have any, he couldn't write out checks or anything. He literally had to pay cash because he had no other money. They froze it all. So I looked it up, and one day we're in that chapel that I was saying. And I see Paige in there one day. So I go down, it's me, Paige, Nardo, and Nardo's brother. I go in there, I pull it up on my phone, and I show it to Paige. And I say, what's this about? It says all his assets were frozen. It was at that moment she told me the truth. Now, she didn't know exactly, because none of us did. This is before we were knowledgeable in this situation. What ended up happening, and the way Paige explained it, yes, that's why she got paid under the table, and because they had no money to give her anymore, or paychecks or anything like that. Turns out that company was a MLM. It was an MLM, and if you don't know what that is, it's a multi-level marketing. Meaning, you don't make money off selling products. No. You make money off of recruiting people And the only way this pyramid scheme can work is if you get in early. And if you're at the top, you're getting money from everybody who's below you. That's illegal because you're not selling a product, you're selling people because you only get bonuses and all that kind of stuff based on how many people you have underneath you, better known as distributors, right? So let's say you get a bonus or something with these with these MLMs. You get a bonus. You get to go to it's the same thing that fucking Mary Kay used to do. You get a pink Cadillac or something like that. In this case, you just keep rising up the ranks to become a diamond. It wasn't diamond, okay? But just go with me. We're just gonna go with the it works kind of thing. Diamond, double diamond, triple diamond, black diamond. Ain't nobody saying black diamond. And so when he gave the pitch to join his team, he was pitching an MLM. So this is another page in the book of how the church ended up falling. Turns out our pastor at the time was running an MLM underneath our noses. I'm sure some people knew. I'm sure some people weren't stupid. And so the reason he had all that money, and he had a lot of money, he got in when he was young. He got into this thing and ended up damn near running it. So he pretty much started this company damn near. So here's where the crossroads is, and this is the problem with this church. And we'll continue on. That's why these videos are shorter, by the way, because there's different parts to this. So in all, it'll probably be about an hour and a half to tell the full story. Well, the full story would take me days, but the brief story. So he was running an MLM, and you guys know, from the bottom of my heart, there's almost very few things I hate. Scammers, people who mess with children. Scammers and people who mess with children are people I just cannot stand. He was using people and taking their precious money, including me, and I was just a young man at the time. He's taking people's money and selling them a dream that doesn't truly exist. It is a dream of standing on people's backs, telling them that one day they'll be where you are, but they'll never get there because you're standing on their back. You literally have them on the ground, standing on their backs. There's no way for them to actually ever become you because it's a scheme. It's a scheme for the people at the top to make the most money possible. All right? So, I don't know if he's changed. I have never heard from him again. Once he got all that money taken, frozen, they were broke. Not even like, oh, just a little broke. I'm talking about everything he had, they took. All of it. All of it. Imagine millions of dollars being taken. And he didn't have enough cash to even pay for that stuff. If you own 200 acres of land, you think it's easy to maintain that with no money? It's gonna go to waste. He had fish. He had a lake so big. He had one lake where where everybody went to go swimming and stuff like that. You could still catch fish there. And then he had a whole nother lake for fish. And then he had gardens, and he grew all his food there. Hey man, I give it to him on this though. The man knew how to build land, right? I don't know if he had paid for all that land up front. That way all he has to do is maintain it. But maintaining 200 acres with no money to pay staff, now no money to pay for security, no money for expertise, no money for the tractors, no money for the digging. How much does it take? So you can see right now, this church not doing well. At this point, they've taken me off. Biggest mistake of their life. Just kidding. At this point, I've been kicked off the team. Everybody's already turned on our pastor at this time. And now he just got found out that he's running an MLM at this church. It only gets worse from here, fellas. So after he disappears and it's no longer him, another person moves up, and we're just gonna call him Ron. He's a born guy. He's cool, but I mean, so Ron and his wife are the same people who told on me in part 1. The same people who told Paige and Big Girl that I had snitched on. This is the same 2 people. So you see how it all comes together? I told you, it all comes together, baby. It all comes together. And so they become the pastors. And they're doing an awful job. I don't really like them. By this time, I'm out of the group anyway. I can't see them anyway. I can't even walk in the building. As far as I knew, they were not doing a great job. And this is where the crumbling is starting to begin. So let's say we have the building, and I'm gonna shut up after this. So let's say you have the building, standing there beautiful and nice. Right now it's leaning. Right now it's falling. After that guy found out, no more trips, no more church camps, because all that money's gone from him. And we will continue next time. I'm going to tell some stories in between these parts for the church, because this is a big story. But I don't want to tell y'all everything right there, because I got to get the details together, and it takes me some time. But I have other stories I can tell in between here. So we'll continue on this probably in a few days. We'll see. But I will give y'all some mini stories in between, even though this is kind of a mini story, but this is all part of one story. So I have to tell it in parts, or I wouldn't be able to get the details straight. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next one. Y'all have a beautiful day. Peace. Hey, RIP to Kevin Samuels.